everybody, this is the Wikstrand. So the movie of today is the Bloodstained Butterfly. Going into this movie, I had absolutely no idea what it was going to be about. And when the movie had been going on for about, 30-35 minutes, I was still a little bit unsure. I was mostly unsure of what kind of genre it was, because this was both an Italian melodrama, it was both a detective story, it was a courtroom drama. It was almost giallo at, some point, almost Dario Argento-esque, including, phone call to the police with husky voice saying I'm too smart for you and all that good stuff. And the ending I thought was kind of good, even though I don't know if it would hold up to any, closer scrutiny, but we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Let's find out if this movie was good or bad, shall we? This is the Bloodstained Butterfly. Girl has been murdered in a park, and the police are doing everything they can to figure out who has murdered her. A local TV celebrity of some description early on gets, accused of the murder, but is ultimately acquitted of all charges. But that doesn't stop him from trying to figure out what has actually transpired here. This is not really a civilian going off the rails to try to, solve a murder case, sort of. It's sort of a little bit that way, but not entirely. This movie tried to be both a courtroom drama, a Italian version of CSI, a melodrama, and a giallo, and a detective story at the same time. And if they would have picked, either one of these genres, either a melodrama or a courtroom drama or a thriller or a detective story, they probably could have worked it. But in this case, they're trying to do too many things at the same time. If anything, I think this movie would have worked best as a courtroom drama, because it was kind of fascinating to see what, I guess, Italian courtrooms look like. And boy howdy, they do not look like the American ones, or the Swedish one for that matter. I was like, is that how Italian courtrooms look like? Man, it's very different. So this movie does not really have that much tension to itself, and it doesn't really have that much suspense. And we are frankly not too bothered by what's happening to, the characters of this movie, because we don't know really who our main character is, because they keep changing the focus of this movie. It leads to a pretty decent finale and a sort of twist that it's not really a twist. I like the somber atmosphere this movie has, but at the same time, this is kind of a run-of-the-mill Italian thriller. I've seen far better than this one, mostly directed by Dario Argento. And the finish is a little bit, huh? That's the finish? I kind of liked it, but I also was kind of, but does that really work? It sort of worked, but you have to realize that there might be a kind of a cultural issue here, because in Italy it is not uncommon to sell crime novels where the identity of the killer is never revealed and the reading public is totally okay with it. So that is one thing we have to take into consideration, maybe why they did this very specific and kind of out of nowhere finale to the whole thing. The movie has okay acting, and I think that the cinematography is pretty good. Everything in this movie is pretty good, but nothing was splendid. It lacks something. It lacks a character to latch onto. It lacks a style to really immerse yourself in. Do I recommend this movie? Not necessarily. I've seen far better Italian movies over the years. On the other hand, I've seen movies that are far inferior to this one, so take that with a pinch of salt. The Bloodstained Butterfly gets 52 points. It is a decent enough Italian movie to entertain you, but it doesn't do anything above superficially crafted suspense. I like the courtroom sequences, and I like some of the reconstruction of the killings. That was kind of fun, but apart from that, there was nothing really that stood out from this movie. So see you next time for so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.